Hello everybody, thanks so much for tuning back into my channel. I'm still very new to this process, so thank you for bearing with me and for continuing to like and subscribe to the content if it resonates with you in some way. So today I want to just jump in and talk about the basis of the majority of my work, which I haven't yet really talked about in depth on the channel yet. And I am going to try to keep this, to a relatively short time frame. But I want to talk about somatic channeling. So what is somatic channeling? What ways am I using this term? What is the practice that is somatic channeling? So first and foremost, most of you may know that I'm a verbal channel as well. So if you've seen my other videos, and please go ahead and click on other videos on this channel to receive channeled messages from my spirit guides. So verbal channeling is a form of channeling, but what a lot of people don't know, for those who are even connected to the spiritual communities and are familiar with trance channels, there are many other forms of channeling as well. There are forms of physical channeling. There are people who literally channel art and various beings who come through to create different types of information in different forms. So what channeling is, first and foremost, the brief description, it's a harmonic resonance that we are creating with non-physical beings so that they may use our bodies as a vessel to transmit information. So when we channel, we consciously shift our frequency state through different forms of practice. Most channels, it only takes a second once they're skilled and practiced, but we get into a state of meditation and then shift our frequency state. And then there's a sync that happens, kind of like a click, where this merging, this harmonic resonance is created with myself as a channel and another being that does not exist in this realm. So this can happen verbally, so people channel verbally, but I also do somatic channeling. So my body will move without any prompting. So the first time this ever happened to me was with the aid of psychedelics, and I'm also a psychedelic facilitator. So years ago, almost 8 years ago now, I was on a bit of plant medicine and I had a kind of initiation. I literally was sitting on a mountaintop and I was meditating after dancing in a flow state for many hours, and flow states are precursors to trance states. So some people may think that they're channeling in flow states, and they are. It's a degree of channeling, but to go deeper, the flow state comes before a trance state. So after this deep flow state of dancing, I went up to meditate, and that's when I became a trance channel for the first time. But the information that came through me the very first time with the help of plant medicine was not verbal. It was not like suddenly I was speaking. They weren't just using my vocal cords. What happened was my hands and my arms literally started floating and moving completely on their own. And when I say this, I truly mean that it felt like I was a puppet on a string and I was not the one moving my body. And though I had dabbled in various kinds of spiritual traditions and practices since I was quite young, I was not extremely adept in yoga, and my body was forming some mudras, hand mudras, and yogic postures, and this became the basis of the somatic channeling practice that I do now. Flash forward, after that single event, at a certain point, I decided I needed to take this happening more seriously, and I trained myself over the course of several years to tap in and tune into this practice of somatic channeling without the aid of plant medicine, which is a whole nother post or video where I could talk about the necessity of psychedelic integration and how to actually weave the insights and practices that plant medicine provides into your daily life. So that's really important to me, to be able to channel sober, which is something I've now been doing for quite some time, years. And this practice of somatic channeling, at first I didn't understand it. The first several times it was happening, I was just in a place of receiving and allowing my body to be an open, empty vessel, to be moved by this other energy, which I have since discovered is an 11th dimensional collective that works with me. So it's a very, very beautiful, angelic, etheric, light energy, but quite powerful. So when I receive this frequency in my actual physical and energetic body, my body moves. It just feels completely right, completely natural. And even though I'm in a trance, I'm still a trance channel in this practice. This, I believe, is something that is ancient, that many people in many traditions have tapped into over the ages. I think humans are slowly waking up to it. In fact, if you have had any kind of experience in a yoga class or a breathwork class or in a sound bath where you have naturally wanted to move your hands and they start to kind of float, this is, in my belief, the start of the somatic channeling practice. And if you have experienced that, comment below. I'm really curious to hear. And one of my passions is helping guide people deeper into this, so it becomes a very specific modality, which is now what I do. So ultimately, somatic channeling, it is channeling with the body, and the body is a holistic trinity. It's a system. It's energetic, it's physical, and it's emotional. So when we receive these frequencies within our body, which we're doing too when we verbally channel, but this is a deeper, more holistic way to channel these energies, in my opinion. When we do this, it becomes deeply, deeply healing for our entire system, and hence it's a healing practice. This is why it's energy work. So basically, this form of energy work, I go into trance, and when I am in this trance state and the 11th dimensional collective begins to use my body to move it however it wants to be moved, I can suddenly tune in and literally, tangibly feel energy. So most of the work of somatic channeling, when I work on myself or when I work on others, because I do this with clients, is a practice of tuning into their energy field and actually feeling the textures of the energy field, of blocks, of knots, and how to move them. I believe that somatic channeling is extremely linked to classical tantra. Classical tantra means to weave or to thread. And before I even knew that, I was telling people that this practice of energy work was a lot like weaving and threading energy through the field. So the basis of it, in a lot of ways, is mudra work. The guides, the beings, they push my hands into specific mudras to move energy. Mudras, in my opinion, are an ancient advanced technology in which every shape, when you really tune in with mudras, they move the flow of prana through the energy field in extremely specific ways. And it's about trusting what mudras naturally want to occur rather than being taught mudras, because some mudras might not be what you specifically need or what your energy field needs. So again, this is automatic movement. It's channeling with the body. And so every time I find a knot or a blockage or a texture in the energy field, and there are so many actual clear textures in the energy field, I work with mudras and yogic asanas essentially to move energy, and it is like a threading. So for example, if I tune in and this, I won't fully channel now, but just to give you an idea, if I'm beginning to channel and I go like this and make a mudra, oh, here it is, it's coming in naturally because it's so automatic for me. So, okay, I'm going to try to come back. So see how this looks like a mudra, it's a simple heart-based mudra, But imagine there's actually a thread. There's a string of energy within my fingers. It begins to weave energy through the field automatically. And these mudras and these movements get quite complex. I also believe that they're connected to light language. This is essentially slowed down light language, and it looks like light language when you speed it up. So I channel light language as well. Feel free to check out my other videos on that. So I just wanted to come here and kind of explain a bit about this, because I am completely convinced that this is one of the most beautiful, profound healing modalities that I've ever experienced. And I am absolutely beyond blessed and beyond grateful to be able to do this work in this lifetime. And so it's my soul's mission to help usher this particular modality of somatic channeling onto the planet, and to help others be able to tap into their own abilities of how to receive channeled movement. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, of course, feel free to send me a message. Visit my website, taylorbratches.com. Feel free to reach out. I'll also just mention that when energy moves, when a block is shifted, and I'll also go back to the threading analogy, energetic blocks in the field, they kind of are like yarn. It's kind of like a ball of knotted yarn. So it's a lot of like, okay, we're going to unknot these energetic concentrations, these balls of yarn. When that happens, what often will occur is people will have a big energetic or emotional or somatic release. So what I'm essentially doing is moving trauma through the body. Energy forms because of unconscious and consistent belief patterns, trauma that we're holding on to, stagnant emotion that we can't release or let go of. All of those things create blockages and knots in the field. So somatic channeling untangles those knots and creates somatic release. And I will tell you that, there were moments back years ago when I first started working on others, I started wondering if I was even doing this right or what was happening. And what people experience alone is a testament to the reality of this healing work. I've had people violently shake, almost seizure, when I'm working on them. I've had people have past life memories arise that they then cry through and release. I've had people understand the ways in which their past life traumas are related to their current life traumas, and then I work to unwind those blockages and those patterns within the field. And what we're doing, with this work is we're also reprogramming the energetic field. So when you shift your actual energetic vibration, then you're pulsing out something else and you're receiving something different. So it's also a deep practice of manifestation. So I'm going to do more videos on this, but I wanted to lay the foundation so people know what I'm talking about, because I'm going to just start posting a few videos of me doing this work. Just so you have a bit of context for what these videos are all about and what's actually happening. So stay tuned for those, and thank you so much for listening and receiving this message. Take care.